The past year, Turki Alalshikh has taken over boxing with Riyadh season. Wherever you look, if there's a big fight, he's probably running it. We're going to answer the question whether it's good for boxing or not. Because a lot of people saying, is it good for boxing, is it not? Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren certainly think it is because they're making a lot of money from it. But I'm going to judge, going to go through the positives, the negatives, and come to my own conclusion of whether Turki Al-Sheikh and Riyadh season coming into boxing is good. So first of all, I want to look at the positives of what they've done for boxing. When they came in, they wanted to have the goal in mind of making big fights, and they've certainly done that. Fury Usyk, Joshua Ngannou, 5v5, the America show, the Wembley show, Joshua Dubois, undisputed heavyweight title. The amount of fights they've made is unbelievable. Because he has the money, backed by the Saudi government. Which, people say that is controversial because the Saudi government, has human rights cases. But we're not talking about human rights cases, we're talking about boxing. Is it good for boxing? And yes, many fights were made at the start, and now we're coming into it. One of the positives, the amount of fights he's made, the fights that, undisputed Usyk versus Fury, that wouldn't have been made because Fury wanted a lot of money to fight him because it was a big risk for him because Usyk is very good. So he wouldn't have taken it if he didn't come into sport. He solved all the issues of the politics. Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren, they didn't work together before. Now they do, because Turkey said, look, you are working together. If you don't work together, one of you will drop. I'll pay you lots of money, work. And they're going, okay, pay us the money, it's fine. And they can do this because he has plenty of money. No one else in boxing can do this because they just don't make money off the shows. They probably lose money because the pay-per-view buys aren't unreal, especially when it's in Saudi Arabia. It makes people not want to buy it. But the Wembley card, Joshua Dubois, is probably the best they've done yet. Not the best undercard. The best undercard is Bivol Beterbiev, definitely. But I think the best main event, Joshua Dubois, definitely. And it was great. Probably got a lot of pay-per-view buys. I haven't seen how many it got yet. But it probably did well. They probably nearly broke even on it. They've also been doing lots of build-up to the things. The trailers have been amazing. The 5v5 trailer was good. Joshua Dubois trailer wasn't as good, but it was still pretty good. And then the Bivol Beterbiev trailer, if you haven't seen that, that is probably the best one yet. He's just made fights that would never happen. Because this generation, it's all about the money. Money being made. Whereas before, you'd be lucky to make $1 million in a fight. Now they're looking to make tens of millions. And it's stopping them from fighting. So Turkey says, right, I'll pay you what you want, just fight. And they end up doing fighting. And it's great, because we've seen fights we've never seen before. And we wouldn't have seen. Bivol Beterbiev, that is an amazing fight. That's coming up in about 2 weeks now. Honestly, probably one of the biggest fight ever in light heavyweight boxing history. And one of the biggest fights of the year. This year has been so busy already. They should just scrap the Riyadh season idea. They say, it's the season to celebrate Saudi Arabia. Mate, scrap the Riyadh season and just say we're doing it year round. Because Riyadh season is literally from October to March or something, mate. Just do it all year round. I guess they don't do it in the summer because it's too hot. But mate, you can just do your foreign shows in Wembley or America, which have been good. But the Riyadh season, it's basically to say, no, we've got to have a reason to be doing it instead of just to get the Saudi image over and to have the great fights. But Turki Al-Sheikh, he's a boxing fan. He knows boxing. And that's all he wants. He wants to get the best fights made. And they are being made in it. That's why, it's good for the sport. Over all the positives, he's made fights happen that would have never been made. He's getting promoters to work together. And money isn't an issue anymore. So they're all fighting. And now, the negatives, which there aren't really many, to be honest. But let's go over them. You've also got the Saudi national anthem at all the fights. They're always going, His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh. I don't like that, to be honest. It's a bit too much. Just say thanks to Turki Al-Sheikh. You don't have to put the Saudi Arabian national anthem on. When Joshua was fighting Dubois, they're both English. They put the English national anthem on. It doesn't really make sense putting the Saudi national anthem on. There were a lot of controversy around that. But, to be honest, does it make me not want to have the Saudis in the boxing? No. If they want to have the national anthem, let them. Because honestly, the amount of stuff they're doing for boxing, having all these undisputed fighting, which have never happened, these big fights happened that were never going to happen if these didn't come into boxing. And it's great for boxing because the fights are just happening that wouldn't have happened. But yeah, there are obviously the humanitarian issues which, can be questioned, but at the same time, it's not a deal with boxing. It's a deal with the Saudi Arabian government. Turki Alalshikh probably don't support it. Turki Alalshikh, all he wants is good fights in boxing, and which I support because I love boxing. I think it's probably the greatest sport in the world, and it was dying, really. Big fights weren't being made, and he came in and he made the big fights happen. Another negative I want to talk about is Turki Al-Sheikh trying to control boxing. Because as much as he's adding to it, he's trying to take over a bit too much, I think. It was reports he would try to buy all the promotional companies and create his own league in Saudi Arabia, which was a bit dodgy, I thought. And then there was the whole Canelo beef, where he basically outed Canelo, saying that he didn't want to fight Terence Crawford. And Canelo just said, look, I don't have to work with you, because he doesn't. Canelo's a big name in his own. He don't need Turki Al-Sheikh's help. But he basically tried to control Canelo, which I don't like, because every boxer's free will to do whatever they want. If they want to work with Turki Al-Sheikh, they will. If they don't, they don't. And he was calling him out, saying, you don't fight Benavidez, you need to fight Canelo. But he didn't. And, Turki Al-Sheikh can see what he wants with that. But he was trying to make it out like he needed to, which Canelo just doesn't. And, Turki Al-Sheikh cannot run boxing. He can add to it a lot. And, he can have a great... He is the most influential person in boxing, but he can't take over boxing. Even Tank Davis, Ryan Garcia, they haven't really entered the Riyadh season yet, because when Ryan Garcia fought Devin Haney, that was the start of Turki Al-Sheikh and Riyadh season coming into boxing. I think if they get Tank working with Riyadh season, because that needs to happen, because I'll be honest, Tank, he's fighting shit fighters, Frank Martin, when he could be fighting Shakur, Loma, Devin Haney, all these great fights that could happen, he don't want to make because he wants too much money, and he don't want to risk losing. Turki Al-Sheikh, all he needs to do is just give him a figure and he'll fight. And that's the problem. He's solving all these fights because he's just giving them enough money, which is how you solve the problem, because these boxers want to fight for stupid amounts, which the promoters can't pay for it. So Turki Al-Sheikh comes in and says, right, I'll pay for whatever you want. So overall, is Turki Al-Sheikh good for boxing? My answer is yes. Not everything he does is good, like taking over the sport, trying to dominate it. But look, the amount of stuff he's done for it, the fights we've seen that would never have happened before, the trailers, the press conferences, the production into it is immense. And he's bringing everyone together and saying, right, everyone, all the promoters, all the TV broadcasters, whatever amount of money you want, I'll pay it. Promoters, pay you whatever. Fighters, I'll pay you whatever. He's solving all the problems with money, which if he didn't have money, they wouldn't happen, because many people have tried to make a World Boxing League and it just doesn't happen, because some boxers don't want to fight for it. And I don't think he'll get every boxer, like Canelo. I don't think Canelo will ever work with him. Tank probably won't not ever work for him, because not every boxer wants to work for him, and they don't have to. And that's the main problem I have with Turki Al-Sheikh. He wants to control all the boxers, which he'll never do. But overall, he's good for boxing. He's making fights we've never seen, and probably wouldn't have happened without him. So overall, he is very good for boxing. And people that say they don't like him in boxing, I disagree with you. And put down in the comments what you think of this, because I don't know how you can't not like him in boxing, because the amount of fights we've seen are great. Probably the bad thing about the worst thing I hate about Turki Al-Sheikh and Riyadh season is the fights being in Saudi Arabia, because the atmosphere isn't great at all. When you watch it, it's quiet, because their culture, they're not loud like America and Britain. So really, the fights in Saudi Arabia aren't the best. If they were in another country, the atmosphere is better, they'd sell more tickets, and they make more money. Because if they had it in Wembley, they'd sell out Wembley. If they had it in Saudi Arabia, they wouldn't even sell out Saudi Arabia, because it's full of all the government officials watching it, no atmosphere. And that's probably the only bad thing I do not like about Turki Al-Sheikh and Riyadh season coming into the sport, is the fights in Saudi Arabia, which can't really change, because if he wants the fights in Saudi Arabia, they will happen. But overall, he's great for the sport. Fights are happening that would have never happened before. So thank you, Turki Al-Sheikh, for coming in and saving boxing, because that's what he's done. He's saved boxing. But I'd like to hear what you think of it in the comments. Thanks for watching, boys, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.